Hello, I'm Kim Dodsworth with the Queensland Storyteller. Now, if anyone can be said to have invented the short story with a surprise ending, it was today's author, the Frenchman Guy De Maupassant, 1850 to 1893. It's called The Necklace, and it's regarded as one of his great stories. To modern ears, the references to class and status are a bit hard to take, but the genius of the plot is timeless. It's been shortened, of course, for a 10-minute reading. She was one of those pretty and charming girls who were sometimes, as if by a mistake of destiny, born in a family of clerks. She had no dowry, no expectations, no means of being known, understood, loved, wedded by any rich and distinguished man, and she let herself be married to a little clerk at the Ministry of Public Instruction. She dressed plainly, because she could not dress well, but she was as unhappy as though she had really fallen from her proper station, since with women there is neither caste nor rank, and beauty, grace, and charm act instead of family and birth. Natural fineness, instinct for what is elegant, suppleness of wit are the sole hierarchy, and make from women of the people the equals of the greatest ladies. But one evening, her husband, the clerk, returned home with a triumphant air, and holding a large envelope in his hand. "There," said he, "here is something for you." She tore the paper sharply and drew out a printed card which bore these words: "The Minister of Public Instruction and Madame Georges Ramponneau request the honour of Monsieur and Madame Loisel's company at the Palace of the Ministry on Monday evening, January the 18th. Instead of being delighted, as her husband hoped, she threw the invitation on the table with disdain, murmuring, "What do you want me to do with that? But, my dear, I thought you would be glad. You never go out, and this is such a fine opportunity. I had awful trouble to get it. Everyone wants to go. It is very select, and they are not giving many invitations to clerks. The whole official world will be there." Finally, she agreed reluctantly to go. She did not have the clothes, the jewels for such a grand occasion, and this depressed her. Somehow they managed to find 400 francs, a huge sum, from their meagre savings for a dress, and a rich friend, Madame Forestier, agreed to loan Madame Loisel a superb necklace of diamonds. The day of the ball arrived. Madame Loisel made a great success. She was prettier than them all, elegant, gracious, smiling, and crazy with joy. All the men looked at her, asked her name, endeavoured to be introduced. All the attachés of the cabinet wanted to waltz with her. She was remarked by the minister himself. She danced with intoxication, with passion, made drunk by pleasure, forgetting all in the triumph of her beauty, in the glory of her success, in a sort of cloud of happiness composed of all this homage, of all this admiration, of all these awakened desires, and of that sense of complete victory which is so sweet to woman's heart. At 5 o'clock they arrived home from the ball. Madame Loisel stood before the glass. She removed the wraps which covered her shoulders, so as once more to see herself in all her glory. But suddenly she uttered a cry. She had no longer the necklace around her neck. Her husband, almost half undressed, demanded, "What is the matter with you?" She turned madly towards him. I've lost Madame Forestier's necklace." He stood up, distracted. "What? How? Impossible!" And they looked in the folds of her dress, in the folds of her cloak, in her pockets, everywhere. They did not find it. They searched everywhere, but to no avail. At the end of a week they had lost all hope, and Loisel, who had aged 5 years, declared, "We must consider how to replace that ornament." The next day they took the box which had contained it, and they went to the jeweller whose name was found within. He consulted his books. "It was not I, madame, who sold that necklace. I must simply have furnished the case." Then they went from jeweller to jeweller, searching for a necklace like the other, consulting their memories, sick both of them with chagrin and with anguish. They found in a shop at the Palais Royal a string of diamonds which seemed to them exactly like the one they looked for. It was worth 40,000 francs. They could have it for 36. So they begged the jeweller not to sell it for 3 days yet, and they made a bargain that he should buy it back for 34,000 francs in case they found the other one before the end of February. Loisel possessed 18,000 francs which his father had left him. He would borrow the rest. He did borrow, asking 1,000 francs of one, 500 of another, 5 louis here, 3 louis there. He gave notes, took up ruinous obligations, dealt with usurers and all the race of lenders. He compromised all the rest of his life, risked his signature without even knowing if he could meet it, and, frightened by the pains yet to come, by the physical privations, and of all the moral tortures which he was to suffer, he went to get the new necklace, putting down upon the merchant's counter 36,000 francs. When Madame Loisel took back the necklace, Madame Forestier said to her, with a chilly manner, "You should have returned it sooner. I might have needed it." She did not open the case, as her friend had so much feared. If she had detected the substitution, what would she have thought? What would she have said? Would she not have taken Madame Loisel for a thief? Madame Loisel now knew the horrible existence of the needy. She took her part, moreover, all on a sudden, with heroism. That dreadful debt must be paid. She would pay it. They dismissed their one servant. They changed their lodgings. They rented a garret under the roof. She came to know what heavy housework meant and the odious cares of the kitchen. She washed the dishes, using her rosy nails on the greasy pots and pans. She washed the dirty linen, the shirts, and the dishcloths, which she dried upon a line. She carried the slops down to the street every morning and carried up the water, stopping for breath at every landing. And, dressed like a woman of the people, she went to the fruiterer, the grocer, the butcher, her basket on her arm, bargaining, insulted, defending her miserable money, sou by sou. Each month they had to meet some notes, renew others, obtain more time. Her husband worked in the evening, making a fair copy of some tradesmen's accounts, and late at night he often copied manuscript for 5 sous a page. And this life lasted 10 years. At the end of 10 years, they had paid everything, with the rates of usury and the accumulations of the compound interest. Madame Loisel looked old now. She had become the woman of impoverished households, strong and hard and rough, with frowsy hair, skirts askew, and red hands. She talked loud while washing the floor with great swishes of water. But sometimes, when her husband was at the office, she sat down near the window, and she thought of that gay evening of long ago, of that ball when she had been so beautiful and so fated. What would have happened if she had not lost that necklace? Who knows? Who knows? How life is strange and how changeful, how little a thing is needed for us to be lost or to be saved. But one Sunday, having gone to take a walk in the Champs-Élysées to refresh herself from the labours of the week, she suddenly perceived a woman who was leading a child. It was Madame Forestier, still young, still beautiful, still charming. Madame Loisel felt moved. Was she going to speak to her? Yes, certainly, and now that she had paid, she was going to tell her all about it. Why not? She went up. "Good day, Jeanne." The other, astonished to be familiarly addressed by this plain goodwife, did not recognize her at all, and stammered, "But, madame, I do not know. You must have mistaken." "No, I am Mathilde Loisel." Her friend uttered a cry. "Oh, my poor Mathilde, how you are changed!" "Yes, I have had days hard enough since I have seen you, days wretched enough, and that because of you." "Of me? How so?" "Do you remember that diamond necklace which you lent to me to wear at the ministerial ball?" "Yes, well?" "Well, I lost it." "What do you mean? You brought it back." "I brought you another, just like it, and for this we have been 10 years paying. You can understand that it was not easy for us who had nothing. At last it is ended, and I am very glad." Madame Forestier had stopped. You say you bought a necklace of diamonds to replace mine? Yes, you never noticed it. Then they were very like. And she smiled with a joy which was proud and naive at once. Madame Forestier, strongly moved, took her two hands. "Oh, my poor Mathilde! Why, my necklace was paste. It was worth at most 500 francs. I hope you enjoyed The Necklace by Guy De Maupassant. I'm Kim Dodsworth. Goodbye for now.